All right. So it looks like I'm going to have to use that microphone. Okay, so is that working? Is it this one working? Is this one? Okay. So my microphone says it was working, guys. I have this cool little mic right here. It says it was working, but it's not working. I guess I'm going to have to use my webcam microphone. I wasn't really prepared for that, but if that's working, then we'll use that. Sorry if it sounds like I'm talking through a can. All right, Peter Edwards, Mike, you on? Okay, sorry about that, guys. Well, I'll do some troubleshooting later. So sorry if it sounds like I'm talking through a can. I wasn't sure what was going on there, but now I'm using my webcam microphone. So, yeah, that's definitely coming from the webcam. All right. Sorry for all the technical difficulties getting started off here, guys. My name is Deadly Crypto, right here to the left, and we are doing a live Q&A session. So whatever question you guys have, I'm going to go through them. We'll go through the comments. I'll try to find where the reasonable comments are because I see a lot of no sound here. So let me go back to the top and we'll see what's up, guys. Welcome, everyone. Thanks. Sorry for the difficulties. All right. Webcam microphone working great as long as it works. As long as it works. So, Crypto Bliss was the first one here. Let me go back up to Crypto Bliss's comment. I had already started to answer it before I realized there was no microphone working because it looked like it was working here. But anyway, Crypto Bliss says, how do you find entry or opportunity for trading with 1 minute and 5 minute time frame? So Crypto Bliss, whenever it comes to finding an entry or opportunity on any time frame, what you're going to want to look for is market structure. The best entries come where you are close to a market structure outbreak or horizontal support or resistance line with a reasonable stop loss that is just above previous market history. So let's just go ahead and take a quick look at, we got BTC behind me right now, for example. So I'm going to zoom out into the 4-hour time frame. And this is something that I've personally been looking at. So I know you said on the 5 minute and 1 minute. So I'll zoom into the 5 minute and 1 minute in just a second. Here I want to take a look at, because this is a really nice opportunity. Let me just go to my object tree and we'll go to possible bear flag there. So here is an area that I've been watching for, waiting for this possible. We have a short little downtrend here inside of this uptrend, which is a larger bear flag. So here there's a couple places or opportunities where we can find trades. And on the larger market structure is where we need to pay attention for the best entries. So obviously right here, we're going to be looking for shorts as this could be respected. And here we want to try, if this is going to be respected in this scope, then longing to the top is going to make sense. And a reasonable stop loss might be to right here. So some people are probably already playing this trying to long, and some people are also playing to short because, well, there's a bear flag in this picture right here. So based upon whenever you get into, this is a nice example of market structure and a recent market structure that we have right before us. So if I'm going to try and just dig into, let me just try and dig into something here on the 1 and 5 minute time frame. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to want to look for obvious market structure. So we have, it looks like a downtrend right here. Obviously we have a series of lower highs and lower lows, and it's going to be different for every market scenario. What we're going to want to do first and foremost is identify the market structure, see what the downtrend is, and you don't just want to jump straight into the 5 minute time frame. Like, you want to use multiple time frame analysis. Right there we started at the 4H. We saw the bear flag. We saw it was potentially breaking down or checking. So then we're going to look into a smaller time frame. Now we're just jumping into the 5 minutes to answer your question so I can get to a couple others. And we're going to see here, okay, well, this is sort of a consolidation. We see a high range over here and a low range right here. We're sort of on the low range, and it's potentially breaking support. So this is a support check right here. So in this area right here, we have support. And it looks like, you know, based upon, I'm not going to go too far back here, but so we do have another layer down this way. I could just clone that right here. And then we'll see really quickly where our opportunities are at. So let me bring that back over here now. So if we break out of this zone right here, you know, if this does not hold as support, we have another layer of support down here at the bottom. So this would give us a trading range like, well, if this doesn't hold, maybe our next target could be up until 3.57% or so. And that's just a rough example based upon what's actually happening in the market right now. What you mainly want to look for is patterns. So here we can see, you know, there was a nice little downtrend here, and there was a floor right here that got broken. So if you were paying attention to this floor right here, you could have shorted on this, we've had a very reasonable short coming in anywhere at this point, and then setting your stop loss over at least that swing high, and then targeting into the support zone if you would have had the capacity to identify this support and resistance zone right here. You'd be able to see that. So that's just a brief example off of what very simple market structure. So let me go through the comments now. I'll go through them in order, make sure I didn't miss anything, because we have a lot of no sound comments, and I promise I'll catch up to where we currently are. So we got, hi, what it do, Diva? Just got on my lunch break just in time. All right. Here for, I'm sorry about the microphone issues, but we're here now for your lunch break. Jeremy says, hell yeah, best time is lunchtime. Learn how to make money. There we go. Muted number 1. Wish we had a mute. Someone should keep a mute comment tracker. How many times did someone get muted? Or I should take a drink for every time someone said I was muted. Nah, just kidding. I can't get drunk on the stream. Or can I? Nah, but I won't. All right. Hey, Niaz is here. Shout out Niaz. He's one of my members. He says no sound. Please check your sound. Thanks, Niaz. Got you, brother. We're back on. Gray Sun says no sound. Boy Tamello. All right. A bunch of no sound. Yay. Okay, so here we got sound. Yes, it's working. Greetings. Webcam, microphone working great. All right, guys. So if y'all didn't know yet, this is Q&A. Ask me anything, whether it be about my own personal trading journey, questions about how to trade the market structure like that one we had earlier. So I'm just going to keep going into the comments until I get to a question. So we got, all right. Jeremy says, great profits today. Congrats, bro. I'm glad you made some great profits today. Nice work. Boy Tamela says, I got scammed by my mic. Yeah, I sure did get scammed by this thing. Nah, it came unplugged when I was moving it. I probably just got to recalibrate it back to OBS. That's probably all I got to do. But we'll check on it later. I'm not going to waste any more time. All right, look, we got here. 8.6 inflation rate just announced. Is this going to affect crypto? And how do you see BTC going? Well, as far as inflation rates go, I mean, one of the purposes of BTC is that it's deflationary by nature. So it makes more sense, as we've seen historically, the purchasing power of Bitcoin goes up. We do have these really large drawbacks over time from all-time highs, and historically, they've been excessive of 50-80%, which a lot of people will claim that makes BTC so volatile. But really, the historical trend, like, they're ignoring the upwards growth it's had, and the purchasing power of Bitcoin has consistently gone up over space and time. Whereas, the value of the dollar, and I really don't think that's the reported inflation rate, but I really think that they're fluffing that a little bit to make it seem not as bad, because gas is 2x alone. Cost of gas is 2x alone in most places, 2.5 in California, in extreme counties here in the States. So it does play a part. I would think in the larger scale, in the immediate sense, it might not have a noticeable effect, but in the long term, definitely. When people can realize that their money is more sound in Bitcoin as a property rather in a inflationary asset such as the US dollar, it's going to take a long time for people to come to that realization as a whole. I saw a comment on Facebook just the other day of someone calling, say, why would I spend that much money on a fake currency or something like that? And I was like, some people really can't be convinced. Some people really just think that fiat's the way to go. But I think it's going to take a long time for the effects of it to be realized, on a recognizable scale. But to answer the second part of your question, how do I see BTC going? It's possible that we could see some downside. I'm not going to knock out the possibility that we could even see something as low as, and let me just briefly explain why. So I got, this is Bitcoin, live Bitcoin behind me, and that was just, that was simulated. That was for the other question we did earlier. So let me just go ahead and get that out of the way there. And we'll come over here. So we're going to take a look at my big bear flag. I think I had great bear flag. There we go. So this is why I think possibly we can range into maybe somewhere around 17K. And I don't want to say that it's 100% possible, but just based off bear flag patterns and how they work. We're watching one right now. There's a smaller one right before us that we were just talking about earlier. Where is that one right there? Possible bear flag. So even if that possible bear flag plays out, it's going to still further project this other bear flag that we have right. Oh, it's right behind my nugget. Let me put me into the corner. Yeah, so, well, no, I disappeared. I'm a ghost. Okay, there I am. Yeah, so my head was right here in the way, wherever that is. So here we're seeing this smaller bear flag breaking out of this larger bear flag, and just, you know, by what's given to, by the data that's present, it's very possible that we could see that extend into 17K. And also because naturally off of all-time highs, we see 80% drawdowns. And so right here is only 74% too. So we still haven't even experienced the 80% drawdown that historically has happened every all-time high. And, you know, this could be a little bit different. We got big finance in here. Maybe they're manipulating it and shorting it all the way down too. You don't know. I don't know how these guys are operating, but I'm just saying it's quite possible we can go into these ranges. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but let's just be prepared for it, you know, and that's my reasoning behind it. So let me get up a drink of water there, grab a drink of some cold water, and then we'll go on with your questions, guys, in the comments. If you have a question, just go ahead and drop it in the comments. So I'm gonna go back to we'll go back, what were we on, 15-minute time frame, 5-minute time frame? Yeah, we'll get BTC going nice and swell back here. If I need to move my big old fat head, I'll do it again. But for now, I'll just leave it like that, and we'll get rid of Great Bear Flag. All right, fellas. So, we got right here. Niaz says, Niaz, my member, bro. How to find the best coin to trade for 5-minute or 15-minute time frame? Okay, Niaz, that's a tough question. It's honestly a tough question. You know how I say when it comes to the best, it's really hard to find something like that out of nowhere. If you just if you think that you can just open up the computer, like realistically, or wherever it is you go to trade, and decide like, hey, you know, it's time for me to trade, open up a coin and think that you're going to find the best coin, that's not really possible. Now, there are preferable times when the market is moving that you can capitalize on volatility very easily. So you want to pay attention to when the market's very volatile, because going in on those quick time frames allows you to scalp and make a lot of profits. Times whenever it's the most risky, though, is where you're going to be able to do this easily. And I'm not going to say, like I said, I don't know what's the best, but when it's most easily to make money, it's also the easiest time to lose money. So the volatility can be your friend and it can be your enemy. When you have these periods of sideways trending action, like right here, you can make use of this, you know, by giving it a zone here along the top and bottom. You can also do the same for, you know, the larger time frames. But whenever you have these huge movements right here, breaking this structure, this is whenever you want to place a wager, right? So we could see here, if I'm just going to paint this up really quickly, there's a nice little wedge. And we have a couple ways to bet on this. You can bet that it's going to break down or up. And not every break is going to be as extreme as that, right? We had this little wedge back here. And there's a couple other, you know, if you start to get in with it, you can see, here we go. You know, we had this little downtrend. And I don't know exactly what the spreads on all of these are, but you're looking at the market structure. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You have to identify these market structures and be able to trade them. So you could take a long right here, you know, at this point, like, all right, I want to bet on this, and I'll put my stop loss below the swing low right here, and we could do TP1, TP2, 3, all that yada yada, right? All that nonsense we can go from here with market structure. And then we could scoot this over, do the same thing. Here, we see this, and we don't know if it's going to go up or down. We just have to bet. We have to play. That's why it's called trading. That's when we have to trade our money in the hope it's going to go up. It's really speculating. And we see this wedge here, so okay, we're going to bet that it breaks up. Here in the volatility, you got lucky on this ride, and you just keep riding it up. Now, you don't just want to sit there and hang on to this like a big dum-dum and come back all the way down on your profits, because that's not trading, you know? So you want to cash out on these moves. And if you miss that move, then you're going to pay attention for the next series of highs and lows. You're going to wait for it to be broken. And just pay attention again to simple market structure. Here we're seeing, you know, we're seeing a series of higher highs here. Hope my mic's still going. I feel like I'm afraid every comment that pops up is going to be about my microphone, because I really did not test this thing. But here we're seeing a series of higher highs, and here we have you know, a series of lower highs. At some point, this is a lower high right here, and this is a market structure you could play on. And then finally, we see here a lower high. So as we're watching this, everyone's watching this. We're like, oh man, you know, it's creating higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. We're gonna wait for that lower high, Then if the next one doesn't break above that, we're pretty much, you know, in short city. And so here is the wedge, and obviously based on that market structure, it broke down. And here, this is a good moment. Right here is where you want to enter in. So you have to be paying attention and then quickly reactive. Or, you know, if you want to be highly speculative, as soon as you got this data point, you can start betting on some of this other infrastructure. So it all depends on what kind of person you are. If you're aggressive and you want to try and bet on even just this range, because people are going to speculate on anything they can, really. And you can place over that swing high here, or you can place over that swing high to be really safe. Then you can try and chase back down. Okay, well, here was a flag where there was some break in the market structure. But really, you know, you could target back all the way to here, because that's where market structure broke out of. Here would be a fine place to target based on that. Yeah, based on that right there. So that would have been solid, you know. So as for the best, there's no such thing. You're just going to have to look for those market setups, and you're going to have to pay attention to whenever you find them and wager in the right direction. And not only, if you're in the wrong direction, know when to close out. And if you're in the right direction, know when to take profits. You can't just hold on to something because you're like, oh man, I'm in a whole bunch of profits, because the volatility is not always going to be there in your favor. If you happen to catch one of those quick rides where, you know, you don't always expect this to happen so quickly, but whenever you do end up in those situations, just take your profits. Take your profits, Nias, and to everybody else. All right, so Gray Sun says, please, what's the sweetest time frame to day trade? Well, I mean, here we can see, even on the 5-minute time frame, if we zoom out like this, we can make good sense of the market structure. And just simply by connecting high points and low points is where you're going to be able to gamble and trade, right? So you want to be able to, of course, find uptrends and downtrends. And then here we have, let me just try and find this sheet that I have really quickly. Yeah, there we go. I think that's the one. Nice, I had it handy. Oh man, it won't load. Okay, sorry. I have OBS and YouTube running, so I can't find the chart patterns. But we have a chart. You know, you can even Google it, a chart pattern sheet, and you want to find like those bull flags, bear flags to break out of. You can find them on literally every time frame. If I come back, you know, like I said, to the 4-hour time frame, we have this bear flag happening right here. Maybe you can't see it with your eyes just right off the rip, but that's where a little bit of technical analysis comes into play. You know, you can come right here, and we see we have this low point and another low point here, another low point here. So we're just going to try and connect these lines. And before we had this information today, right, now those points, these 3 points are connecting, right? 1, 2, 3, and then we have this point right here breaking down. So that's quite possibly a break. There could be a fake out and it comes back into the channel. But here, you know, we see we connect these points here. We're also looking, and even before we had that, I'll just use these as a reference too. We had that wedge going, and then we created a new higher high, developed into a new market structure. So, which gives us our bear flag. Now, if I take that away, right, then we can see the current bear flag we're playing. There's all that little hoo-ha we were doing on the 5 minutes. It doesn't even look relevant at this point at all. But you can bet on any of this stuff, so that just works back into where we are now. And again, that was like right behind my nugget. Sorry guys, I should have put myself in the corner, but that wasn't too far out of the way. So let me just go ahead and put myself in the corner again. There we go, fellas. So let me see what we see. Or can I? What? Or can I? What? You gotta stand by your mic. What? I second that vote. I don't understand what we're doing. I vote he should what? Oh man, did I break the mic yesterday? All right, yeah, not really sure what that was for, but anyway, we'll go on there. So let me see. Nishant Sharma says, should I take short leverage call on Bitcoin on 15-minute time frame? Hey man, that's not a terrible idea. Like I said, if this market structure breaks down, we'll go to the 15-minute time for you, Sharma. So if this market structure breaks down right here, I mean, preferably, I would have liked to have gotten in right here, or maybe even at this point, whenever we had that rejecting off of this. That would have been, I mean, we had 2 points right there, so that's a fine third touch to have got our short entry. And to pull the trigger right now, we have a huge stop loss, because let's just go ahead and realistically take a look at this now. if this comes into an area of a reasonable place to put this stop loss, it's about 10% off, because we have seen price action here recently, very recently, since June 6th, which is a couple days ago. Now it's the 10th. That was only 4 days ago. So if we're looking into this now and we're like, oh man, if we're trying to shoot for, we're going to have to shoot for at least a 10% profit. And a 10% profit at this point is going to put us, shoot, I'm going to put us at 26K. Now, how likely is that? I don't know. You could put your stop loss to any of these points right here. You can even put it above this trend line, right? So we're going to try and bet on this. I'll zoom in on it as close as I can now. So we're just going to say, hey, if you want to put your short in right here, we're going market price 2% above this trend line, saying if it re-enters this range, then we want to be out of the position, because if it re-enters the range, then it's possible, where's my paintbrush? Then it's possible that it can do something like this, right? So we don't want to be involved in that. I could live with that. But personally, I would like to have been involved right here at this point, not much long ago. It looks like this is turning into quite a little bit of a downtrend here, and ultimately, if it breaks out, there's going to be some other layers of, you know, micro support and resistance along the way. But that structure is really nice to gamble on. It's something I've been watching closely. Oh man, still got my paintbrush on. So yeah, man, if you're a risk taker, if you're aggressive and you want to go for it, at least whenever you get into a profitable position, don't be afraid to move your stop loss back into entry. That way, whenever it does pull back, you at least get stopped out for some profits, or at least to cover even just the trading fees. We don't want you hanging on to a trade that comes into profits and then hold all the way into your stop loss. That doesn't make sense. So if you want to shoot for it, go ahead and shoot for it. Set up multiple take profit targets, man. Be aggressive and make sure you have your stop loss in place where it makes sense to you based on the market structure. So we got Johnny 8 just saying, yeah, I want, oh yeah, drunk stream. Yeah, the drunk stream would be cool. We should definitely do a drunk stream. So Johnny 8 says, guys, by the way, if you're here, I'm not really sure how many people are here or not. So if you're here and you got a question, just go ahead and drop it in the comments. This is open for anyone to drop a comment or, you know, question about anything, whatever you guys got crypto related. And I'm gonna take a drink of water and answer Johnny's question. Oh, I think there's that chart patterns there, by the way, too. Yeah, nice. Look. Cool. So this is what you want to look for, man. You want to try and find these structures right here, and you know, wager on them. So back whenever Benjamin Graham was writing books, you know, that's a good book, but we didn't really have all these resources available. Now we know. I mean, like I said, trading is highly speculative by nature, gambling, essentially. But we have ways to calculate it. You know, people count cards in the casinos. People understand how to make a lot of money whenever they're gambling high profile with a lot of money. And if you don't understand how to do it with a little bit of money, then you're never going to get to that professional level. So taking a look at even simple market structures like this, and then you have a basis as to why you're going to spectate or gamble on a certain position. So let me move that back out the way now. I just saw that floating up there. I was like, that's where it popped up at. I clicked it, but I didn't see where it popped up at. And then Johnny says, just thinking, most people think BTC will go up in value over 10 years. Why wouldn't you long BTC and put no stop loss and let the trade run over many years with leverage? Well, I mean, you can do that. You can do that, Johnny. You just got to make sure that you get in past your entry. Now, so what you want to be careful of is you cannot really trust centralized exchanges that much. I'm not going to say they're untrustable, but they can pretty much do whatever they want with your money. It's on their wallet. So if you have to get paid out like, you know, $100 million, maybe they might find a way to not pay you that money. So it might just be better off if you hold that. If you're really just going to hold for 10 years, that's why you hold it in a spot wallet, you know, off exchange. You don't really want to hold something for that long on an exchange because there's so many variables as to what could happen. What if this exchange has to get taken down? What if this exchange force closes your position? Not only that, but there's taxes involved in the position. So I think on Binance, it's like every 8 hours there's an open interest tax. So as you make more and more profits, let's just say, for example, you know, you're going through the swings of bull and bear, and just in theory, this is just in theory, you're going through the cycles of bull and bear, and it goes up, 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 you're making profits, and you hold it, you're getting taxed all the way up, and it's just coming away from your profits. and then it's coming back down. So now you're losing all those profits, and you still have that open position tax, even though it's on the way down. So in theory, you'd be paying a lot of money in exchange fees, just simply based on the way Binance works. And then you have that super additional risk of like, hey, you know, I put my money into a futures contract on a centralized exchange where I essentially don't really have control over it, versus I plan to hold Bitcoin for 10 years, so I'm going to do it in this, you know, offline cold wallet type deal. So I think in theory, you can do it. Nothing wrong. You can do it. You just got to be aware of the circumstances of what could go wrong. So we got Nishan says, thank you. You're welcome. My boy Caesar, what's up, dude? Do you a strategy that you have tested more than 100 times? Fuck yeah, man. My uptrend surf strategy, the ones that are in our CU Discord server, the uptrend surf strategy is my favorite, bro. I don't have the EMA indicators on now, but that's really why I built the EMA cross. Well, so that I could look at all of these right here, and trading on the uptrend is super, super fun. I love trading it. It's super fun. You have the 9 EMA as such a tight stop loss boundary. Whereas, like, remember, whenever we're going off market structure, we have a lot of floating stop losses and take profits, because whenever we're using market structure, like here we're using this line, so we're like waiting for that for a break, and then here we're, you know, whenever we move forward, we were using this line, so we're waiting for that for a break. But here I can see very clearly, based upon the EMAs, that this right here is, you know, clearly breaking into a downtrend. And if I want to try and short this on the downside, I can put up entries right here along based upon my 9 entry, because it's pretty much going to tap there, because price mathematically cannot stray far away from the 9 EMA, you know, very far. It goes away from all of them. This is the 200 right now that I have by default, and it can change it by every time frame. You can change to whatever you like, but here it must snap back at some point. It mathematically cannot stray too far away. So whenever we get into these regions, you can use it to, even as a confirmation to counter trend trade with a combination of divergence. So adapting that, like if there's no divergence present, you're using this and you're surfing onto the downside, and you're like, oh man, I'm hitting the shorts, and I'm using this as my entry, and we're using this as a stop loss, and we're just targeting on the downside as long as this is true. Now we're using, of course, the RSI, ADX, to see where our momentum's running out and things like that. And when we see a divergence, so for example, let me pop up the RSI here. So if we're using this to, I said uptrend surf, but now we're using it to downtrend surf. So if we take a short position right here, we're seeing this break and we're waiting for the snapback, and we get in on this snapback here. So then we can have a stop loss at that point. See, as we snap back here, so we take that entry, and then our take profit is to the swing high, and we chase it down below. It's awesome because it's a dynamic strategy too. So it gives us clear boundaries, whereas these decisions would have been really hard to make just off basic horizontal support or resistance. But here I can see, you know, naturally when price goes into these areas multiple times, it'll touch here first, usually, not always. It'll touch here first, and then it'll come into this area where it opens up really wide, and then it'll start to break through here, and then touch the second area, and then stray away again. At that point, they start to come close together. And then it comes up, touch the third area, and so forth, right? So that is when we're chasing it and chasing it and chasing it, and the take profit can actually extend. So it's fun to go both ways on that, and you have very clear stop loss and take profit goals. And then whenever you see something like this, if you're chasing it all the way down, and the RSI could be way up here, you know, like you could be fortunate enough to see something like this. Let's just say, for example, the RSI looked like this right here. But right here, we can see actually that the RSI is positioned closer to the bottom now. So just as an added confirmation, I mean, this is technically divergence, as we're seeing this run into here now, and that's creating a divergence as this is sloping up, this is sloping down. So if we had taken this short at this point, or if we had taken a short at any one of these points, right, we know that it's time to close that short and take our profits, because price is gambling up in this direction. And now based on this, we can get ready for these to cross and get ready for the trend shift and go in that direction. Or if it well, based off the divergence, yeah, I'd be looking for a counter trend reversal right now based on 15-minute time frame, just because of that. I mean, this could be a false signal, but that's just some way that I would, you know, adapt the strategy. So Yeah, I love that strategy. That's like my favorite strategy that I love to use because it gives you targets on the go. So like I said, you don't have to worry about market structure so much. But whenever you can combine the two, it really helps. I mean, if you see them cross over in an instance like that. So that's one of my favorites for sure. I would definitely recommend you look into that and practice that one, my brother. I'll go ahead and turn that off for now and turn off the RSI. And let me get a drink of water, fellas. Oh, man. Babe says lunchtime's over for her. I'll see you later, baby. Mwah. I love you. I hope you saw that. I hope you still got to see that. Okay, now G-Man says, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, G-Man? How you doing? One of my members, shout out to G-Man Crypto. That's my boy. So there we go. Let me see. Caesar says, find it hard to trade market structure, so I try using indicators. I use EMA for dynamic support. Caesar, that's a great thing to do, man. You just got to be careful about how you're using it, you know, where it comes into play, and where they all are in relation to each other, right? So just quickly turning back on the EMAs again. Whenever they get all congested like this, you want to be careful whenever you're playing the pullbacks because, you know, things can go either way. It's playing that 200 EMA. It could go either way. See here, it's using it as resistance. Then it flips up and it starts using it as support, or it tries, then comes back down. And we see it. Now we see the EMA start to spill up. So we're going to be naturally more aware of a downtrend at that point. So whenever they get far apart from each other, that's when you know the trend is getting really strong. So that's just another pointer there, Caesar, about how you can use them for dynamic support and resistance. I love using them in that fashion. So let me see here. We got Johnny8 says, didn't think about the charges. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, man. Whenever you're on a futures exchange, whenever you make any trade, they're gonna charge you. Whenever you hold it open, there's open interest taxes or open interest fees. Pretty much taxes. So yeah, you gotta be cautious of that. Always gotta be cautious of that. Whereas on cold wallet holding, there's no fees, except for the exchange fees that it took to get there. Just whatever transfer fee you used to get from that wallet to the cold wallet. Probably bought it on an exchange, probably had to pay a withdrawal fee, so that's probably the only fee. You're not going to have to pay a fee just to hodl. Kinlaz, what's up, Kinlaz, bro? My boy, what's up, Kinlaz? He says, what coins are you picking for long term? Bro, I have seriously cut down on my interest in altcoins. Now, a couple coins that I am interested in for long terms, and I probably sound like a broken record, but it's because it's true. I'm not just trying to pick up random new shit that, you know, is popping up for whatever reason because it's the latest new trend. I'm sticking to my investments for a very good reason. One, because naturally we have to look. When you say long term, I really am thinking about 10, 15, 20 years from now, right? I'm hoping to be alive that long. If I am, I want these assets to be successful. I'm not trying to over diversify. If we just look back historically, whenever we think about just a couple quick references, the motor vehicle industry, right? We think about the transit, and this is a transitionary era. We're literally transitioning currencies from physical to digital. So we think back of transitionary areas. We think about, well, one is the manufacturing industry of motor vehicles. You know, people knew that it was going to be very successful, and there were car companies popping up all over the place, but nobody knew which one was going to be successful. And then here we are 100 years later, a century later, Ford and Dodge are still reigning supreme, and I don't really know any other older ones, but I know Ford and Dodge are really, really, really old, really successful, and not a lot of car companies survived, and a lot of them have come up and died since then. And we can think about that, you know, as cryptocurrencies. So you don't really know which one of these cryptocurrencies are going to survive in the long run. And not to go too far off on a tangent, but back to my list, I've reduced it for a number of reasons, and I'll be blatant about it. So I'm interested in Chainlink because it is the most populated and most widely used Oracle system, basically interconnecting blockchains, because we all know blockchain interconnectivity is a huge problem. So it's a network that allows people to interact between blockchains, and it's invested in and backed by quite a few people. Google is backing it, so that's, you know, one good reason to be. If Google's investing in something, probably, you know, maybe not the best idea, but if they have an interest in it, probably for a good reason. And then I have Theta token, which I really just got in for so cheap. It was really good. It still sounds really good in theory. It's a decentralized streaming network. So here, how we're streaming on YouTube, could be streaming on Theta. There's no audience there. There's not really that many people there. You have to, you know, you have to participate in the network by staking, so that's how you get to stream. It's really cool. Sony joined the network after. Yeah, that's right. I got in before Sony did, and they joined the network, and then it was like boom, shot up to like $15, and now here we are. I think it's like back at $1.90 or something. Last time I checked, $1.60. Let me see. $1.30. It's $1.30 right now. So it's probably got some downside to go, but I mean that is a really good investment in my opinion. I'm not telling you to buy it. It's got a lot of competition now. At the time, it really didn't. I couldn't name you anybody who's doing a very good job or that has any other name brand people investing in it or even using the network. But that is a good reason, and one of the reasons I want to hold it long term. And then when we get into a little bit more, of course, I got a little bit of Ethereum. I'm looking at my watch list up here. So of course, whenever we get into Ethereum, it's not going anywhere. It has a lot of competition. It's primed to be one of the long-term existing cryptocurrencies with upside potential. So I don't really want it per se, like I'm participating heavily in the ETH network, but I think it would be foolish to not have any. Now I've really heard of Bitcoin maxis laughing at the thought of holding any other altcoin, and I understand that, yes, Bitcoin is far superior as it really does look to replace currency as a whole in general. And the thought of cryptocurrencies as currencies is shallow, honestly. But it's really not. It's a strong computer protocol, Ethereum is, and there's a lot of people building on it. As far as the space goes, I just don't see all those people going away. I don't see all those things. I see some of them going away, but not everybody who's building on Ethereum is going to go away. So, I mean, wouldn't be a bad idea to hold Ethereum. I'm holding some, and I'm not really too interested in acquiring more of the Ethereum, Theta, or Chainlink that I have right now. I'm waiting to see what's going on with the market before I continue to accumulate any more. But those are my biggest holdings. And then moving forward, I've got a lot of Litecoin. It's been marketed as the alternative to Bitcoin. It's the silver to Bitcoin. So I think that's how it survived most of the time, and I've been trying to phase some of that into Bitcoin. I've changed my beliefs a little bit about it, but I still do think that it is, it's really fast to get off exchanges. It's really safe, trustworthy network. It's almost exact copy paste of Bitcoin's code, really. And if you read the white pages, it's just, I think it's multiplied by a factor of like 4. So the only problem is it's not really decentralized because we know who the creator is, Charlie Lee. So that's why, that's why we don't use it. Or people use it, but that's why people would be like, oh, it's not going to be so successful because it's not really decentralized. Like, we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And he pulled that stunt in 2017 where he sold the top and it really affected the price and all this and that. So, that's the reason I'm not into it anymore. And I'm taking a little bit of interest in Matic and Mana. I think, Matic operates, it's a cheap, fast, and efficient layer 2 protocol built on top of Ethereum. So for people who necessarily get excluded from Ethereum can still participate on Ethereum blockchain in a cheap sense. And there's other people who do that too. And there's even other cheap blockchains who compete against it entirely. Like Algorand is a blockchain that my buddy told me about. And it's really, it's cheap. They do all the same thing. Smart contracts, NFTs, all that woo-woo. It's just different blockchains. So, I mean, Matic, I'm not balls deep on Matic, but if I'm looking into the future and seeing something that's going to be used by a lot of people, when people show up, naturally, they don't have a lot of money and they still want to be involved. So they're going to make use of layer 2 solutions, rather if they can't mint on Ethereum or something like that, namely for NFTs and things, because NFTs are probably going to be a really big part of the future, and they're going to be distributed across different blockchains, and you can make NFTs through, like I said, really cheap. So anyway, and then Mana, I don't know. There's a lot of metaverses out there. I don't think Mana is going to be the most successful, but I picked up some Mana and been trying to dollar cost. I picked it up at an unfathomable price. Honestly, it was way too expensive, and I'm trying to DCA so I can try and hold on to that for a little bit longer. I want to see how it goes through the next cycle or two. I'm not necessarily holding that for. I'm not planning on holding my Mana for a decade by any means. I want to see how it does in the next bull run. Because it has a lot of really good competition like Sandbox. There's plenty of metaverse is out there, and even other play-to-earn games that are taking away from mana as a whole. Because honestly, it's kind of boring. You just get your little avatar and walk around. It's cool for like 3 days or so, and then you're like, oh man, this is, if you don't have a bunch of money to spend, it gets pretty boring pretty quickly. So, but at the same time, it's cheap. So I think that people that are there for the long term, if you're involved in the game for a long time in any games network, you're gonna want to accumulate more of those coins for the long term, so that way you can use the in-game currency. So I'm gonna see how mana does for the next 4 to 6 years. See how it does up on the next bull top, and maybe take some profits on it. Maybe hang on to some. I don't know. We'll see how that goes when we get there. But that's about all I've got that I'm heavily invested in right now with plans for. I got some alts spread out all over the place, but that's what I'm holding long term. So I spent a lot of time on that question. Didn't mean to, guys. Sorry. Let's go ahead and see what else we got here. Ken Laz, my boy. Thanks for the question, Ken Laz. The boy Camilo says, I had a trade on BTC. Entry was 28,933. SL was 28,800. I closed it because it looks like a downtrend. Do you think it will go back to 30K today? Well, if I am looking at BTC, I would say that, at 7:30, yeah, that's 7:30 this morning. It's my 7:30. So that was about, I don't know, I'm pretty bad at math. 5 hours ago, it was just at 30K. So yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, that's in today's range. It's possible. I'm not going to say that it's going to happen or entirely true, but it's quite possible that we could see a bounce back to there, as it was just here in that region. And people don't like to think about these types of scenarios often. They'd be like, oh, but Deadly, we just slid off. How is it really going to pop back up like that? Well, if we'll take a look at just, this example from, is my head out the way? Yeah. So we'll take a look at this example from right here. I mean, price slid all the way down. And then you're like, oh man, do you think BTC could go back to 31K? And I'm like, well, it could. We were just there like a few hours ago. And they're like, oh, no, it can't. And then it goes up to 31K. It's like, woof. That is the volatility that I love. That is why we're all here. So, I mean, it's very possible. Yes. Is it likely? Not really. Is it possible? It's possible. Yes, it's possible. All right. Where am I at now? Looks like we got a couple more comments. All right, so my boy Caesar says, at what time frame do you usually trade using the EMA cross? Usually whenever I use the EMA cross, like I said, if I'm using the uptrend surf strategy, I'm using more of like the 9 and 26 as the first layers of dynamic support and resistance. If I get into a really good position with one of those on, based upon if it's, long or short, I may try to ride it into another layer, like the 50 or the 100 or even the 200, shoot. But if I ride something, for example, like if I ride here, because I know there's something right here. So if I ride like this cross right here, if I see the 926 cross here, and then I see this cross over the 200, pretty much good right there, because I know it's already mathematically, it's straight back to that value. And it could pop over, to some degree here. But honestly, I would really expect it to come back like at this level. I wouldn't expect it to stray too far in any range where at least, this is the distance-wise. So that's like 1%. So here's 1% distance. So I'd be taking profits for sure. If I was holding on to this right here at this point when that shorted, I'd be taking profits right there at that point. And yeah, I wouldn't feel bad about it. I'd be like, oh man, because it did keep dropping down. But I mean, just realistically, that doesn't happen a lot. So I mean, it does happen, but you don't want to, like it. We just talked about how it does happen, but it doesn't happen where you get into the point where it's just you catch those moments and they rally up like that. If you're trading every single market structure, you're gonna be wrong on some. You might bet down, you might bet up based on different clues. But yeah, if it strays below that, then I'll pretty much be ready to get out of the trade with whatever profits I got. If I was happening to ride in from across where it goes into that point. And then on a larger time frame, I do have a bot set up for the 4 hour and 1 day 50, 200 EMA daily cross. So basically, whenever the 50 and 200 cross on the 4 hour time frame and the 1 day time frame, my bots take action and they just ride from open to close. And they're only on BTC right now. I don't really like the back testing results from other assets. I haven't studied other assets too hard though, like I've studied Bitcoin. So I have a bot running up on that. So I don't even manually trade that anymore. But if I see it with my eyes, I'll try to make use of it. Like I said, if I'm trading in it dynamically. But yeah, those are the ways I trade the EMAs. Jamie says G-Man here. Grayson says G-Man Twilight. I don't know how to pronounce that. So let me see here. We got Caesar says, thank you, sir. You're welcome. You're welcome. Caesar says, what do you understand about supply and demand? Well, the way I like to think about it is, I mean, there are huge supply and demand zones, and sometimes they can be referred to as support or resistance. Now, not every single support and resistance zone is a supply and demand zone, but obviously, if we zoom out and let me just go back into the daily time frame, make sure my nugget's out the way, my head there. Okay, so if we come into and we look at this area right here, obviously in the past there was a lot of points where people were buying at this area, right? So we see right here, demand is increasing, and then now, you know, people don't want it so much, so demand starts to weaken, so the price starts to go down. And now there were a lot of people who were speculating. They're like, oh man, I want to get in on this right now because it's pretty cheap, right? So boom, it creates demand right here. So people are like waiting for that bar minute, that lowest price right there. And they're like, oh man, you know, I want BTC at this price. You know, I want to buy it right here. And so we had that zone now, and now it's almost the same sentiment. I mean, we're still at that zone. It was previously used. You know, there was a lot of demand in that area. So previously, working from what has recently happened, we're going to be we want to be cautious that this doesn't flip, right? Because now this can become a selling point from all the other people who got in at bad positions. Some people still want to get in because we think it might go up higher and create new all-time highs, but realistically, you know, there are some past clues that show it could draw down into another, and this is Bybit, so it's not really loading a bunch of other data. But then we can look into right here was probably about a reasonable area where we see a lot of it beforehand. But again, I don't have all that data available on Bybit. So you can break that down into smaller time frames. Like I said, you can relate it to support and resistance, but not every support and resistance zone is going to be a supply zone, or a demand zone. I'm sorry. So Jeremy says, I just hit my target on my short. That's what's up, bro. Hell yeah, man. Man, it's been a good day for shorting. It's been a really good day for shorting. Looking at Ethereum up here, it's dropping. Yeah, that's Ethereum too. What'd you short, Jeremy? What'd you short up on? And then we got Grayson says, what do you think of Rasa? I'll take a quick look at it. I've never heard of it before, but since this is Q&A, we'll go ahead. It looks like it's on Gate. Oh, it's on Huobi too. Raka, Radio Kaka? Radio Kaka? Okay, well, it looks like it's pretty down on Huobi. Oh, okay, so it's got a little bit more trading background on Gate. Yeah, it looks like that was a really good pump and dump. Damn, wish I could have got in on that. Dang, 2,500%. Sheesh. Yeah, man, I don't know about this one. This looks like a shit coin that's dead and gone, brother. I wouldn't put anything of value on this. I would not put. I mean, if you wanted to have fun and like play some maybe type of guesswork, you can put like I don't even know what's affordable to you. I don't want to just throw out a value that's like above what you can afford. Pretty much don't try to invest in this. I mean, not a gross amount of your income, a gross amount of your portfolio. I would say like maybe like probably less than 1%. Yeah, maybe less than 1% of your portfolio. If you have interest in this for going long, I don't know, man. Based upon the information that's there, I haven't read the white paper or anything like that, but based off the technicals, it's I mean, it's got a long way to go to all-time high. I don't know what kind of ecosystem is behind this. I don't know what the community's like. I don't know what the white paper says. If you want to try and gamble that maybe you make another 2,000% on that, it's all good in the hood with me. Shit, I'd love for you to make 2,500%, bro. But do not put a substantial amount of money into this for the long term, please. I would not recommend that. So let me see what we got here. Johnny says, got to shoot. Unfortunately, shoot. Oh yeah, I hope you're talking about fucking shooting firearms, man. That's what's up. Then you go on shoot. Don't be talking about it. Unfortunately, had so many questions. Hey man, well if you're still here or if you pop back up later, just drop them in the comments. I'm gonna go through these for just you know, a little bit longer. Looks like we're running up on an hour, so that's really good. I'll keep going as long as they keep as long as the comments keep coming. So if you have a question, drop it in the comments below. We'll keep going as long as I got comments there. So appreciate you sharing all your knowledge. Thanks, brother. You have a good night too, my man. Ken Lance says, "What do you think about Thor Chain?" I don't know too much about Thor Chain either, honestly. What is that? Thor USDT? Is that Thor swap or is that Rune? Is Rune Thor? Yeah, I don't know too much about it. I'll look up the technicals. Really, I think. Let me know the ticker for it, Ken Lance. Give me the ticker for Thor, and we'll take a look at the technicals real quick. But I don't know too much about it, honestly. Grayson says, message retracted. Oh man, message retracted, bro. Sorry, brother. Sorry about that. Message retracted. Maybe next time. Or re-retract it. Re-retract it. Put it back in. Asikona Maya says, is the audio okay only, or is it not just me, or who can't hear the sound? Oh man. Hey, Asikona says they can't hear the sound. Can you hear me? Anybody? Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me there? Because I was having mic issues earlier, so I'm just hoping my webcam didn't go out now. Asikmaya says, yeah, I'm not too sure. Not too sure here. Hoping that we still got some. Hoping we still got some audio. Can someone let me know if we got audio? Yes, we can. Okay, perfect. All right, perfect. Okay, so let me see here. Ananya says, hello, brother. I appreciate you spreading meaning knowledge. History repeats itself. Even there are proofs many things have died down in any industries. BTC is superior and 95% of all coins will disappear. Very well said, brother. I agree with you. I agree with you. Absolutely, man. There are so many cryptocurrencies that are here right now that will not be here in the next bull run, that will not be here in the next 10 years. And even so, there's 110, 150 cryptos that will exist next cycle that don't exist right now. So there's lots of room for someone to be successful in this industry. But at the same time, it's crazy how much room for failure there is. So not everyone is going to be successful. You're absolutely right about that. Grayson says Raka is metaverse. Well, I'm not sure about what metaverse it is. It's probably got its own little ecosystem there. If it returns up to all-time high, then I mean, it'd be pretty fun to get in on that kind of ride. But it's risky right now. Even if it's at a low floor, it's pretty risky. This thing can go to zero and hurt you pretty bad, especially if it disappears. Israel Deleon says, what's the bottom look like for you? What do you expect BTC to drop to? Israel, what's up, man? Welcome, welcome. So we talked about it earlier in detail. I'll summarize it really quickly. Basically, we were looking about potentially 17K or lower, maybe even. To the downside, we could see possibly 11K based upon previous price action history and data ranges. You can backtrack just a little bit down here. I'm not really sure where it is. But yeah, you can go back and look about why there's a little bear flag, a little hoo-ha, a little technical analysis explanation in there. Possibly around 17K to 10K is very, very possible. I'm not going to say it will go there, but it's possible. So we got, let me see, Rune. Yeah, okay, so it was Rune. So we'll go ahead and take a look at Rune. All right, so, hey, there we go, bro. Oh, man, it's down this. Alright, so what was the question about Rune there? What do you think about Thor Chain? Okay, so technically, I mean, this thing's in a really nice wedge, actually. Even based on the daily time frame, that's a gnarly wedge. That is a super duper huge wedge. Now, it looks like that yellow line is something that I've had previously identified as a fine price point, and I didn't do that for this stream. I guess this is just, I've looked at it before. And it looks like I've got this support zone here. So yeah, if we wanted to break to the upside, you know, this is where we're looking to be going to. This is the wedge that we're playing, and if it breaks downside on the wedge, which it looks like it's potentially forming out here, a little bit closer on this market structure into the immediate action. There we can see if that's divergence, that'd be interesting. So here we're probably gonna have to wait for a couple more candlesticks to develop because we don't know. This can be used as a low if price goes up, or it could shoot down and continue to create this lower point right here. But for now, that's kind of what we'd be looking at right now based off that projection. And there we do got some divergence, so that's actually pretty good. If we're looking to use that divergence for the values from the time it occurred, we can do 15 days. Well, it looks like the divergence would probably be about played out. Yeah, that's about right. So even though we do have that divergence there, okay, yeah, looking just a little bit further, we now have bearish divergence. So bearish divergence is going to trump over that, and the bullish divergence is expired. So that's we're going to be looking to play that downside maybe to right there in the upcoming days, probably down to $2.20. And there's your larger market structure as well. We got some resistance in this zone, resistance at $6.12, and then resistance up here along this line. Depending upon when market price actually runs into that, could range anywhere from $10 to $6. All right, let me get a little bit more water now. Talking chatterbox. Sweet, so everyone can hear me. Nice. All right, fellas. Yeah, Jeremy says Luna is a perfect example. Luna is a very perfect example. That thing blew off the face of the earth. It was pretty targeted, but it's perfect. It is a really good example. So Israel De Leon says, cool, thanks. You're welcome, my man. Thanks for asking. Thanks for sticking around for the answer. Grayson says, any gist on FTM? Pretty sure I've looked at FTM before, so we can go ahead and look at that and get my memory jogged. Yeah. Oh, dang. We even had a downtrend channel here. That would have been, yeah. See, people did buy that. That's why it's happening that way. Because this is happening for too long. So here's that, here's the mentality on that one, I'll bet you. Let me adjust that a little bit. So people saw that third touch, and then they were shorting all the way down from here. Then we see these three touches, so everyone's waiting for that fourth touch to buy. Then we get in long, so we have that pump, and then we have profit taking right here, which is why it rejects down. Now we have people waiting to try and ride back to the top of the channel. People waiting for it to close just above the entry. So right here, we're probably going to get a lot of stops triggered. That's going to push it maybe back down towards the end of the channel. But this is the range we're playing right now. I could not have said, I mean, I don't know how to say it any more clear as day than that. That's a downtrend channel. I mean, we can look here and see some other support or resistance potential levels. There's one right there. So that could be potentially used as resistance in the future. And then here we have a support zone, so we could chop that up there. If it breaks out of the support zone, maybe it comes down into the flare. And breaking into this, or looking into this a little bit closer, looks like we had something of a bear flag here. Not really too sure. We can get this value from a couple different places, but what is notable is that this is an active downtrend. So we're playing that until we're not playing that. We're respecting it until we're not, because there is no uptrend structure here. And yep, there she goes. There she blows. So there's the range for you on Phantom. And that's a daily range. Yep, we're on the daily time frame there. Ananya says, what happened to Cardano? What happened to Cardano? Let's find out. Oh, nothing really. I don't know why Cardano got so much hype. I don't really like Cardano. Charles is a cool dude, I guess. Paints himself like a teddy bear, but he's a pretty vicious dude. The only reason he left Ethereum was because he really wanted to keep it non-profit. He's like, oh, well, I'll just go make my own cryptocurrency. And then he's like, spending time in his basement, whatever, making Cardano. And he's like, I'm basically just going to copy and paste it and make a couple changes. And then boom, Cardano was born. But anyway, technically, this is what we're looking at here. So I'll scoot that over. All right. Here we go. So we got some nice ranges on Cardano. It looks like it has tried to break out over that downtrend line. Here is the first retest. or confirmation on the outside of that downtrend line. Now, it's not been respecting it. If it were to use it as resistance like it did right there, then we could be a little bit more conscious of price going downwards further into some of these other support zones. But here we can actually see that price is forming support. And I think that might be a previous all-time high. Yeah. So that was a previous all-time high value right there at 38 cents. So we have already pretty much practically come really close right there at 41 cents, bouncing off of that. Then we have this resistance range that we're playing right here from that flag break and then that support touch right there. And now there's actually, even though we've broken out of this downtrend, we're still in a downtrend. It's still a series of lower highs. If we connect another one of these points right here, we can still see that this is a downtrend. Now it looks like price is trying to break over that, and the same effect that we have here where it breaks over and does a retest. I'm seeing it on a smaller scale. That's why I said you can do this literally on any time frame. If you get into that, that's probably tradable the same way this was. But yeah, here's the ranges we're looking for. Here's some of your targets right here on Cardano. Jamie says, what is your view on digital currency like SLP in the crypto market? Well, I mean, SLP, we'll put on SLP's chart when we talk about this. SLP, just very quickly, I do know a little bit about that one. It is the in-game currency for, I think, Axie Infinity. And so people playing the game are going to be, rewarded in this currency. And they're probably going to want to get more of the currency to play the game more efficiently and effectively. So, it does have a real world price attached to it. But if you think about it in like this, SLP itself, with the way the game is played, I don't know, it's kind of a drag. It doesn't really feel like a game. It feels more like a chore than anything. And whenever you think about this concept in a different game, like I know you play Call of Duty. So you have to imagine like the COD points that you can get on, Call of Duty. You have to pay for them with your credit card. You can unlock them. So there's different ways to unlock the Call of Duty points. You can buy them with any currency, with any cryptocurrency, USD, BTC, whatever the hell you want. Then the camos in the game, you buy those skins for your character, you buy those weapons, those stupid gun camos. They cost $100,000. They get stuck on that game whenever you go to the next game or whatever. Maybe a lot of them can be used for a lot longer now. But anyway, let's make that an NFT. Now you can change it between any character you own. You can resell it later. You don't just have to buy the packs and have 100,000 skins laying around. Or if you buy the pack, it has like a 5-pack and you really only wanted the one skin, you can put the other ones up on the marketplace. Maybe they sell, maybe they don't. You can get paid in the in-game currency and then convert it back to real world currency. So the thought about what can be done with in-game currencies and NFTs is crazy. I love to think about it. What capabilities do I have to make it possible? Not really any. I'm hoping for some developers to come through and make this shit possible. I think that whenever COD announces that they're going to do something of that nature, even have such an in-game cryptocurrency, that's going to be bullish for all the crypto markets and bullish for the play-to-earn movements. But whenever COD does take it over, a lot of those other smaller games that are successful now because of the play-to-earn feature probably going to die off. So again, we have pros and cons of the future, like who's going to be successful, and already today, who is going to adapt the fastest. So, Grayson says Jeremy SLP is dead. I mean, it's pretty fucking low. Shoot. Man. I wouldn't be opposed to on this currency, just because I know a little bit more about it, I wouldn't be opposed to trying to hold something on for a flash pump. Maybe at one of these prices. How far is that stop loss? It's probably don't be more than 20%. Okay, 13%. With some play money, I would like to try and play on that and see if I could get a nice little green pump candle. I'm not trying to say ride it back up here, but these green pump candles can be pretty fun. So I mean, yeah, this is very, very far down. I don't know, man. Homeboy said it's dead. That was great. Whenever he said that, I just started laughing. It's pretty dead, dude. It's pretty fucking low. But yeah, doesn't mean that in-game currencies as a whole is a bad idea. But this one, sheesh, how much is that back to all-time high? Let's just see. The other one was what, 2,500%? 10,000%. Oh man. Yeah, you know what? I'm finna put $100 in SLP after the stream. No, man. Nah, even if we got, let me see, even if we got back up to this level, what would that be? It's a cool 5x, cool $500 play. I could risk that. I can risk it for 10,000%. That'd be worth it. Take profits. Take 100% profits at 5x, and then let the rest of that shit ride. Let me see what we got here. What we got here. Jeremy Tony says, okay, that graze I was using as an example. Oh, my view on digital currency. Yeah. So yeah, there's my thoughts on digital currency. I mean, it's got a place in the future. Really nice place. And that's just one place that I could think of it, that already exists in a gaming place. But I'm sure there's way more outside of my scope of imagination. So Grayson says, my last question, please. I got bags of FTM home. I won't die. What do you mean your last question? And you just on FTM? I did the TA on FTM, bro. Yeah, I said, yeah, I did the FTM on. I did the TA on FTM. This is your man. If you got bags at home, brother, I don't know what to tell you, man. You got a lot of downside potential. I wouldn't cater to enter a long right now. So if you're expecting this to go up, I mean, we've got this immediate level of resistance. Even after that, we have this active downtrend channel, and after that, we have this horizontal level of resistance. Now, whenever we get past these levels, it's gonna be a nice turnaround. But that's, who knows when that is? Like I said, there's your immediate level of resistance right there. So be careful with your bags at home, brother. Let me see what else we got here. So Boy Tamello says that was the nitrous bull results on the 15 minutes. Boy Tamello, what was the nitrous bull results on the 15 minutes? Yes, we can. Trying to go back up into your chats now. I don't exactly see. Yeah. Fill me in on that, brother. And then Nick says SOP was a breeding coin. Influx of axes, no more breeding. So no more breeding. Wow. That sucks. I'll still say $100 on SOP wouldn't be a bad call. I have this theory that I want to put $100, but that's a lot of money, just to be gambling away. $100 on the top 100 coins would be $10,000. So in 10 years, just to see what they'd end up with, or hell, even at the next bull cycle, but 10 years of 10K of disposable income for 10 years. If anyone wants to partake in that, all you have to do is gather $100 of each of the top 100 in the current coin market cap or CoinGecko listings, and just wait it out. That's all you got to do if you want to play that one. That'd be a fun little experiment. But I can't waste 10K like that right now. And it might not be a waste, And some of them might make you crazy rich, but I can't throw a 10K down on that right now. So what's up, fellas? We got any more questions? Any AMAs? Ask me anything. Questions and answers, guys. I'm gonna take a drink of water. We'll hang out for a little bit longer if y'all got anything. If not, I can, I got plenty of things to do. We'll find something to do. I got some new indicators I'm coming out, working on for you guys. Really quickly, I'll show you guys one. How do I turn off all the drawings? I'll just go back to Bitcoin really quick. Or someone actually give me a, I'll go to Bitcoin, but someone give me a random asset too. A random asset that I could put it on. So we have a clean chart, hopefully. Something that's a clean chart. Why are all those on like that? There we go. I'm trying to get all of these off. Not sure why all those trend lines came broken in there like that. Alright, so anyway, there's nothing on the screen right there. So yeah, got that coming up for y'all. Boom! Hopefully, man, we can get that thing rolling out for y'all. But yeah, if anyone else has any other questions about anything crypto related, I specialize in trading. I spend a lot of my time trading. I know a little bit about other stuff, whatever, NFTs, a little bit about blockchain, a little bit about mining. I'm running a little miner right here, pool mining Ethereum right now. But if no one has any questions, then, oh, it looks like we do got a couple questions. No? Jeremy says, LOL, just shoot for the moon. You got a gut feeling. Not really a gut feeling. 10,000% is really attractive, though. Ananya says, NFTs and AAA rated games would be huge. Yeah, that would be super fucking gnarly. I can see a future where we could use some skins on GTA, COD, etc. interchangeably or trade it. Yeah, just like universe hop. You know, something too. What would even be like an interesting concept is I'll go ahead and put myself back to the center of the screen now. What would be even an interesting concept is if like you're playing a battle royale game and maybe you have the setting to enter that mode or not because you don't always want to lose your shit, but like you know, and you go into a battle royale when you die and you lose your loot and your money, you know, when you die you drop all your stuff, your inventory. Like that's your real inventory, man. It's like shit. And now you have to start over again, buy some new guns when you respawn or whatever. Like that would be way more fun. I think that would like it would make to where people have to play like way more realistically because a lot of times people go on, you know, all that slide cancel, you know, Joe Bo knocking on the door, bull crap, and coming out, you know, Aiden Sus slide canceling. Makes the game, it's fun for the guys if you're really good at it, slide canceling and playing the way that they play, but for other guys it's not so fun. So you know, it would make it way more realistic if you have that fear of going into fight and you're just like you had this camo, this gun that you spent like a bunch of money for, and you're like, oh man, I died, and then boom, you drop the gun. Other guy comes, he just picks up your gun. He's like, oh, look at the cool gun I found. You know, like that's what would really happen in war. Like, you know, you think about it, people go kill a guy, take all this stuff. That's it. So make it a little bit more realistic. I think they could. And that's just one, and that's another example of how they could make it more realistic. So there's a lot of ways that could be expanded on. Jimmy says Dogecoin. You want me to look at Dogecoin or what? Why do you say Dogecoin for? Do you want me to look at Dogecoin? Nick says, what crypto has given you the best returns? Man, for me, for Theta, it was the biggest returns at one point in my portfolio. I got into Theta at 34 cents, man. Super huge run up. But I actually didn't take profits whenever I should have, or entirely, actually. So I watched my portfolio go really big and then come back down to quite not as big. But in Chainlink, I actually did. I got in pretty early on Chainlink as well, sub $8, and then my first buys were at $1.63. But I actually got into it pretty heavily. Around $8 was about my DCA for the long run, and then I sold out. I haven't marked on my chart here. I sold out quite a bit, you know, to take some profit. That was the only thing. That was like that was my most remarkable success from this past bull run because no one really knew where the top was. And maybe I should have sold some other assets there, but I sold Chainlink right here. And I'm waiting to rebuy some Chainlink for the long run because again, I think I want Chainlink for the long run. I do want Chainlink for the long run. But my nugget in the way. Yeah, but anyway, you can see it right there. But yeah, that's so Chainlink technically did bring me the most profit. That was my most profitable coin because of the fact that I actually sold it and took some profits on it. But in theory, Theta gave me way more money, but I didn't take profits on it. Just watch my portfolio go up and go down. Boy Miller says, I wanted to know on BTC 15 minutes. I wanted to see how accurate it was. Nitrous Bull. So I don't understand. You want me to put it on? You want me to put Nitrous Bull 15 minutes on BTC? I can go do that real quick. Do. Yeah. There you go. Oh, in 15 minutes? There you go, buddy. There's 15 minutes for you. I'll zoom in so you can kind of see there. There you go. We'll zoom out, I guess. I don't really know. I'm trying to fit it all in, but then you can't really see where the candlesticks call it at. So I don't know. Close that over. Is that what you wanted, bro? Let me know. Let me know if that's what you want. I don't think I quite understand you. And Niez, my brother Niez. TA for BNB, please. Yes, sir. You got it. That's my boy Niaz right there. He is one of our members. We'll snap on that, brother. We'll snap on that. TA for BNB. Oh, let me take off Nitrous Bull really quick. Go into the daily time frame. Why don't I have anything on this? Oh, yeah, there we go. I was pretty sure I had something on this. All right, so it looks like I haven't updated it in a while, so we'll just go ahead and connect those points there. So nothing new, using that same point. That's been respected twice. That's pretty clean. Now we can expect some rejection at that level. Here we do have this is as of right now, that swing low is the lowest swing low. So if you wanted to try and pop in along to be conservative, you can put your SL right there, or you could put your SL behind here if you wanted to be a little bit more realistic, as this could flash down into that. But then you're just asking to get stopped out for a big stop loss there. So I'll take a look at RSI really quickly to see if there's any divergence. So that divergence pretty much played out. We did have a divergence there. Here there doesn't seem to be any divergence bullish. Looks like we do have bearish that might have played out. It's not perfect bearish. Not perfect bearish. But a little bit of divergence there, and it's probably almost expired. I mean, that's eight bars. So we're going to here. Yeah, we're past that. So be very cautious whatever you're doing here. I mean, there's not really much signs of what's going to occur. Okay, so yeah, here we do have this downtrend line actually, and maybe we can see this is a downtrend channel. Is the downtrend channel forming? Not exactly. So we have a falling wedge. If I look back to that photo, we'll try and find which one that looks like there. So here we go. And that's what we need to look out for. Where'd it go? Yeah, there you go. So be careful of that. So whenever it comes in one of these ways, we have that there. So we're gonna look. I mean, if it breaks to the downside is a possibility. Naturally, we want to look for that upside break in the retest to go out and then run into that resistance zone. But if it does break to the downside, Niaz, this is our swing low right here. So it's very possible that price. I mean, we were just talking about possibilities. That's the daily time frame. So when was that? May. So that was last month. So it could extend into that range. I wouldn't be looking for a flash crash anytime soon. But we do have this range that we're looking to immediately play. It could break to the downside, and here's where we're going to be looking for that outbreak to the upside. So pay attention for something of this. Bloop. Alright, Dogecoin for your indicator. Oh, Dogecoin for the indicator. Yeah, we can do that real quick. Oh, let me get rid of this paintbrush. Dogecoin for the indicator. Niaz, let me know if that worked for you, brother. If you need me to drop into a smaller time frame or not, let me know, Niaz. I'm going to go check on Dogecoin for that indicator. And I will definitely, if we need to do some more for you, Niaz, brother, you're one of my members, we'll take care of you. Yeah, so. Do I hide everything? There we go. There's Dogecoin on the daily, so it looks like we got a nice downtrend line. Not much support to the downside. And on the 4 hours, looks like a lot of resistance points, and the wedges. We got a wedge right here that's breaking down, so that is yep. Looks like it's breaking to the downside, and maybe it's going to be using this as resistance. And then again, we have another similar scenario to BNB. There's that swing low over there. Price could try. That was also about the same time. Yep, May 11th, May 12th. So price could travel into that direction quite possibly soon. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, and Boy Tamelo says that's what I wanted. Yes, Boy Tamelo, awesome. I'm glad that's what you wanted, brother. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Ananya says, got to go and sleep. It's 1 a.m. for me. Well, shoot, good night, Ananya, man. Thanks for the questions answered. Thanks for coming, brother. I was glad to have you here. And we got Nishant says, is NB Optimus Prime indicator free to use? No, Nishant, that's one of our premium indicators at Crypto University. It's actually the only indicator we have right now that is available, but we do have 3 indicators coming up very soon that we're going to be dropping, and one of those 3 that we're releasing is going to be a free indicator. So I can show you what that one looks like really quickly. So we're looking at this one now, and basically here we have on the 4-hour time frame, it's not giving us any green calls, and here we do have a green call. That's a pretty bad call, but basically the way the indicator works is whenever it shows green, you have potential for upwards trading, and whenever it's orange, you want to be wary. Now what it does is it uses these EMA indicators right here. So basically, if the first top two are above each other, and in this case the values are 9 and 26. So let me change them to 5 and 10 because that is what the indicator uses. And then it actually does not use a fourth value input. So we'll take off that fourth value, or the fifth value right there. So here we go. We can see our 100 EMA is right here. Now if we're looking at the trading indicator, we have this right here, and it's 5, 10, 50, 100. We could change this to whatever we like. If we want to change that to 9 and 26, then we can, and it's going to change the colors, the way the colors pop up here. But it comes auto-populated at 5 and 10 because this is a short-term crossover strategy. So it's going to give you a little bit more, and let me just go ahead and turn off the 100 EMA too, so that way we can see that line clearly now. So that is the indicator line. So whenever the 5 and the 10 cross each other, it becomes orange. So it lets us know that, hey, it's possible price is going to reverse soon. And then if they open back up on top of each other, it allows us to know quickly, hey, these are on top of each other, our uptrend's good. Here we can see that they're crossing. Now this orange indicator says, hey, it's potential that we're going to cross down. They crossed up, it's green, they crossed down. Here it's red because they are beneath each other and also below the third value here, which at this point is 50. So if it comes to that point where it's below the blue value, then the red, this line is going to be indicated as red, and essentially going to tell us that it's not safe to take a long in that position. Now on the flip side, just because it's red does not mean it's okay to take a short position. Oh man, my big old head's in the way. Just because we're on the, just because it's red doesn't mean we're going to be able to take a short position. It's not programmed to tell you when to take a short. It's programmed to tell you when uptrends are losing validity. There we go. Sorry guys. I don't have a teleprompter or anything. I was just having trouble with that. So yeah, we see there's a lot of downtrend action recently, which doesn't give us much of green. But whenever there is a notable, reconcilable uptrend, it will give you plausible places to take trades, and it works on any time frame. We'll go into 5 minutes, so it'll automatically give you the values for that time frame. So this indicator is going to be free. It's currently not available yet, but once we get it up and listed, you'll be able to check it out, and you can find I think the link is in the description below. cryptouniversity.network. Yeah, it's in the description below, so you can go check it out on your signals page there, and we'll have this one for free hopefully by the end of this month, and a couple other indicators for you guys as well. So let me grab another drink of water, see where we're at. All right, cool. No more questions? No more comments? All right, I'll hang around for just a couple more seconds, guys. Let me put my big old head back to the middle now, just so, oh, not that one. My trading account there. Well, we're on CU's account anyway, so it's not a big deal. All right, fellas. Yeah, so what y'all got for me? Any other questions? Any other comments? Anything you guys want to talk about before we call it a wrap here? Oh man, looks like Dogecoin doing a little pumpy dance. A little puppy dance. What y'all got for me, fellas? Is that gonna be a wrap? What y'all got for me? Yeah, we've been here for like, let me see, about 90 minutes now. Yeah, a little bit about 90 minutes. Well, I had, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes of muted microphone at the beginning. God, that's so embarrassing. I hate when that happens. I promise, guys, I don't know what happened there because I moved my microphone earlier this week and I didn't reconnect it to OBS. I guess I thought I recorded a video yesterday because I'm editing a video. Oh yeah, but no, I moved my microphone yesterday too. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It even says it's on right now, but I have to go from this. It doesn't say it's available. So yeah, we were muted at the beginning. Sorry guys, didn't mean to. Yeah, that's the only one. Oh, now I see it there. Literally, it wasn't there. Now it's there. I'm not even gonna try and cross over to it though. Whatever, I'll troubleshoot later. We used, that was my first time streaming using this, and it was impromptu, so don't think it was too bad. Let me see. Oh, we got one more question from Caesar. He says, do you know the MTF EMA? MTF EMA. I can look it up really quick. By who? By which one? MTF EMA. Hey, thanks, Nishant. Great. Says great. MTF EMA. I don't know, man. There's a couple of them here. Guess I'll just look at the one by FX Massa. What is this? I don't see anything. Oh. Yeah. I don't really know what that is. Anania's got a quick question. Let me see if I can figure out what this is. Lickety split. So I'm not sure what value that would be. Yeah, I'm not sure what value that would be, man. No, can't say I've ever seen it before. We could take a little bit. We could take a look at it if you want. If tell me which one. Tell me which author you want it by, because there's a couple of them here. MTF EMA. Yeah, there's a couple of them here. So let me know which one you want us to look at, and we can try and figure it out. It looks like just another calculated moving average value of some sort. So Ananya says, a quick question. It said that and news is already reflected in the price action. That is why. It said that and news is already reflected in the price action. That is why TA is better than fundamental. But oftentimes altcoin does not follow that. Views, please. I can't say I quite understand the question, but I think what you're asking is TA better than fundamental analysis? And I'm going to say, for the most part, that a lot of information comes from technical analysis. Now, there is, in stock markets, really, there's a lot of fundamental analysis that goes into like how much a company makes versus if they give out dividends, what's the dividend share versus the income. So there's a lot of different ways that a fundamental or even, you know, a technical analyst would look at some of the fundamental ways stocks develop. It can be said the same of cryptocurrencies, but a lot of the people that are speculating on cryptocurrency right now are namely that they're just speculators. So a lot of the things that they're speculating on is just the simple things they've been taught, which is simple price action. You know, most of the times, like even most of the people here on this stream or other streams that I go through, they want to know what's the best, what's the quickest, you know, what's the fastest. Everyone's there for fast money. Everyone's just browsing around on these things, window shopping these charts because they have a TradingView account. You know, not everyone has Glassnode. Some people look at Glassnode. It does matter if there's a huge inflow or the increased amount of unique addresses that are holding Bitcoins in certain quantities goes higher over the long run. That could be indicative of something. But for the most part, price action is certainly king. I would say that there can also be some reaction based on news, but a lot of that is targeted based on price action. As for altcoins not following it, well, you have to take a look at, I mean, some of them have no correlation at all, and some of them have a lot greater correlation than others. So you have to take a look and see what's correlated with BTC, but then also too at the individual altcoin, see, because just because BTC moves in a direction doesn't mean every altcoin will do the same. Just because there's a news outbreak for one altcoin doesn't mean it's going to affect BTC. So they don't exactly come hand in hand. They oftentimes move together, and a lot of times can affect one. Bitcoin can affect other altcoins, but it's not common that another altcoin affects Bitcoin's performance. It's the opposite. And Caesar says the first one. Yeah, so Ananya, let me know if that's good for you. Caesar says the first one. Yeah, Caesar, it says MTF one day. I don't really know what this is, man. Oh, it's got a source code available. So it's just okay. Okay, so he's just established this as a security symbol and plotted so this is just the daily. In this instance, he's got it on, the 1 day. Well, it's not necessarily even the 1 day. It's on the time frame that's being displayed. So it's just the EMA period. So it's the exponential moving average being displayed by the input of this def value, which is what's on the time frame. So nice. Yeah, okay, so this is oh, okay, I think I get it. So let me see. If I have, let me try and put this really quick. Where is the damn my EMA cross? Alright, so if I have this right here, let me just put this on. I'm gonna turn all these other ones off real quick. Okay, so we'll use the 200. So that's the 200 for the daily time frame. Now I'll turn this on, and if I want to put the MTF for the let me put it to the 1 day 200 and see if it matches up. Yeah, so there it is. That's the exponential moving average. So you can use this to look at a different time frame. If you're on the 1 day and you want to go to, let's say, I want to look at the 400 hour 200 EMA. There's the 400 hour, or sorry, 400 hour. There's the 4 hour 200 EMA, and there again is the 1 hour of the 1 day 200 EMA. So this allows you to look at the EMA from a different time frame and overlay it on the time frame that you're currently looking at. So if I wanted to look at the 9 EMA period on the 4 hour time frame, and this is going to allow me to look at it on the daily. Yeah, that's what it is. And we just figured that out by looking at the source code. Thank you for letting the source code be public, Mr. What was that dude's name? Furious? What's it called? MTF EMA. FX Massa, that's what it was. FX Massa. Yeah, thanks for letting your source code be public, bro. Yeah, that's all it is. You can look at the moving average on a different time frame than what you're currently observing. Let me see the first one. DC says, "Why are you in disguise, man? Who's after you? Are you talking about because of my mustache and my goatee, my little beard? What is it like? What's those guys' names? The anonymous guys? No. Yeah, right. V for Vendetta. Yeah, I don't know. No one's after me. I don't think anyone's after me." Kinlass says, "Why did Binance suspend withdrawal of Rune?" Well, brother, I didn't know they suspended the withdrawal of Rune. I mean, we can look up an article as to see why, but I'm not sure. What my hypothesis would be is maybe they don't actually have enough liquidity to dish it out, or people are trying to withdraw more than they actually have. Yeah, maybe people are trying to withdraw too much at the same time, so they need to slow down the network. It happens sometimes when there's a frenzy. I don't know what might be causing that in Rune, honestly, but I've seen it happen before, you know, with Cardano, with other assets, especially Luna. So that's one of the we were talking about earlier. Some of the dangers of centralized exchanges. I mean, that's one of them. They can suspend withdrawals at any time, and I don't know why, brother. But you can. I would suggest you look up a couple articles. Maybe they've released something. Binance official. Don't look at some other third-party documentation site. Try and find an official Binance article or statement and see what's going on with that, and maybe even check your emails. They might have sent you an email. But if you don't have an email, check for a recent article from Binance. Paul, welcome, Paul. Man, got a bunch of questions. You're gonna drag us out. Let's see what we got. Hello, I wanted to know regarding leverage. If you have to rescue a deal by adding fund in order to lower the average price, will it cost more if you are on futures with leverage than on spot with the same initial size, price, and TP? For example, I'm opening a long value, price is 100, leverage is 20, TP is 1.5, current price is 200, then drops to 190. If I have not SL and have been liquidated yet, will it cost me more to save the deal in this situation versus the same situation without leverage on spot? Hope I'm clear. Smile. Yeah, so whenever you're looking at DCAing with leverage, you have to consider the price point that you went in at. So for example, if you're opening that long, you have 20x, and I think that you want to stay within the anti-liquidation guidelines, so you maybe take it at 5% of your account value. If you try to put more funds in that situation, if it goes down, you try to DCA that predicament, you're offsetting the liquidation rate. So if you only had it at 5% now and you're putting more, you try to match that now, right? Let's say you only have 5% of your available funds. Well, you've actually stacked in 10% into that scenario. So you have effectively reduced the take profit goal, but I wouldn't exactly recommend doing that outside of a bot. I mean, the way I trade futures is manually with take profits and stop losses. I don't really try to. Once I've told the story so many times about how I ended up losing 17 grand in one trade, and basically I was just trying to chase a trade down and add funds to it. So I've become more aware of my stop losses, and basically, you know, if a price gets reached, then it's like the likelihood of a continuation for it in that direction is greater if I am achieving a stop loss. So I need not be involved in that position. I can just recalculate instead of trying to write it down. Now, if you're not methodically, intentionally DCA investing, if you didn't open up that trade with the intent like, hey, if it falls down, I have a mathematical plan to avoid liquidation and add funds into this if it reaches this price. But essentially, if you have 3 commas, that's what the bots are for. You can set up the bot to do that for you. So, like I said, if you're not going in manually with that strategy, I would not personally recommend doing it on futures. If I catch your drift right, and if that makes sense, let me know, Paul. Let me know, Paul, brother. And DC says it's a strong look, man. Hey, thanks. Sometimes the mustache looks like shit, brother. I don't, man, a couple streams ago I was talking about, you know, chopping it off. Looks like shit whenever I wake up. Man, my girl made me watch this Disney movie with this Viking. Can't remember who the Viking was or what the movie was, but yeah, man, I look exactly like that dude whenever I wake up in the morning. I gotta wrestle this thing down to get it to look the way it does most of the time. So, blessing and a burden, but thanks. Nick says, how long do you think we'll go? What you mean, brother? What you mean, Nick? Let me know what you mean, brother. I'm not really sure what you mean by how long you think we'll go. How low? How low you think we'll go? Or, yeah. Not really sure what you mean there, partner. Not really sure what you mean. Looks like we're about at the end of the comments, though. So, fill me in, Paul. Let me know if that was good for you. I'm sure there's a little bit of latency on the stream between you hearing what I said and me getting another comment from you. But, yeah, let me know. Okay, yeah. Paul says yes is okay. Sweet deal. And Nick says, how long do you think we'll go? Yeah, man, Nick, let me know if you can clarify on that, brother. It's, I think it's the last question I got unanswered. Yep. Last question I got unanswered. Cool. It's a good thing I didn't put that live up there in that screen corner. Yeah, I got this nice little desk backdrop I want to try and work with too. But not on this stream. Haven't really perfected it yet, so I can't bring it up. But down here somewhere. Yeah, fancy. Intro 5 fancy. Yeah, that's the one. Haven't really used it yet, but maybe we'll get to use it soon. Well, is that all we got, guys? Is that all we got from you, my fellas? Because I'm ready for a snack. I'm sure am hungry. I sure am hungry. And look at this. Man, Ethereum is going bananas back here. It's not really screaming buy, though. Oh, we still got Dogecoin up here? Nice. I'll leave that visual assistance indicator on there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alright, fellas, y'all got anything else for me? I just click around here and see what Raven looks like on this thing. Nice. We'll leave Raven coin there. Looks interesting to have in the background anyway. So, hope the market returns. Yeah. It will one of these days, but not every single altcoin is going to perform how you might think, you might expect it to. Bitcoin will definitely see another all-time high. It's just a matter of when. Can't say how low to go, but I know Bitcoin will return to all-time high at one point. That's a given. So Bitcoin's good investment, really solid investment over space and time. Historically, has always done everyone good. But some of these other altcoins, I don't know. Place your bets wherever you want to place your bets. Hang on, man. Lock and load. Nick says, how low? Yeah, Nick, for BTC, man, I think for BTC we could end up around, you know, you might not want to hear this, maybe 17K, possibly downward of 11K. I'm just being honest with you, man. Based off the technicals we got, it's very possible. Do I see it happening? I don't want it to happen, but is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Maybe. I'd like to think it's different this time around, but you know, I can only go based on what past historical data has been given to us. I think that's what any competent analyst would say, is that it's possible. to see those deviations. But Paul says, see you, thanks for the live. Hey, thanks for coming, Paul. See you around, man. Boytamelo says, because I'm holding them long term. Boytamelo, what is it that you're holding? What are we looking at? Oh, yeah. Shoosh, man. You better be able to fathom the volatility, or stomach the volatility rather, so that way you don't get caught up in selling your products for a loss, man, or your assets. But also make sure that you're not holding something that's never going to return to some of those values, because we've seen, in the 2017 bull run, we had a lot of coins disappear. Many coins from that made their 2017 all-time highs didn't come close in this last bull run. So just be careful about what you're holding, man, and make sure that if you're holding it, you have a good reason to hold it, and you're not going to be swayed later on down the road by some development. And then Niaz says, thanks for the best stream. You're welcome, Niaz. You're welcome, my man. Well, okay, cool. We got one more from DC. What we got there? Is there a future for roll-up protocols like Polygon when ETH2 finally drops out of Vitalik's a-hole? Well, real quick about Vitalik's a-hole. I really, I remember a long time ago, man. It was September. I don't even remember what year now. I don't remember if it was 2021 or 2020, but me and my buddy were in the gym talking about how ETH 2.0 was getting ready to launch, and everyone's like, oh, what are you going to do when ETH 2.0 launches? What are you going to do when ETH 2.0 launches? And we kind of had a plan, and kind of really just wanted to trade it because it is pretty cool to be a node operator, so I think that's going to play some effect in the staking protocol. But it's going to hurt the miners a little bit. Now, that's sort of a tangent there. But as far as all the layer 2 protocols go, I'm not sure to the entirety of them. I have not heard of anything from them, personally, about what they're going to do whenever the switch happens. I assume that it's going to have some effect on every layer 2 protocol, and that's probably what the big holdup is, because if there's not a functionality between the old layer 2 solutions, then we're going to need new solutions, and that's going to be a really big shithole for Ethereum. It's not going to be good for the price. It's not going to be good for the ecosystem, for Ethereum's ecosystem anyway. And I don't know, maybe it being the second largest crypto, it could play a part in taking the market down with it, just a little bit, even if it is the case. So as far as I'm aware, I don't know if anyone has any plans as to how to adapt, but I mean, I'm going to, if Ethereum 2.0 does not launch, which is the current situation that we're speculating on, if we're just looking at the current situation that we have, I mean, there is a place for some layer 2 solutions. So if you want to maybe diversify, I wouldn't do it too heavily. Like I said, I don't know if you were here earlier when I was talking about layer 2 solutions I'm holding, but I am holding Matic, trying to work on not necessarily accumulate more of it for the long term. But if Ethereum is successful, I think that it's going to be a gateway for a lot of people who want to use the Ethereum ecosystem in a cheap and fast way. So I think there's definitely room for it. As for what's going to happen when ETH 2.0 drops, man, I have no idea. And that's something that we gotta, I guess I would wait to speculate on that until the time comes a little bit closer, until it actually happens. Because it was supposed to happen, I remember it for sure gonna happen in September, like over a year ago or two. I want to say over a year, or definitely a year ago. I don't remember. I remember it being September. I don't think it was last year. I want to say it was like 2020. So we'll see if Vitalik does pull it out of his butthole. Boyd Miller says, thanks for your time, bro. And Unkobe says, do you have any book to recommend for traders? Man, there's a bunch of great books out there, brother. For traders, I really haven't come across. I mean, there's PDF guides and YouTube guides, things like that. But as for the Candlestick Bible is good for traders. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, it's a good book. A lot of people have really said it was the investment Bible of the century, but I really don't think a lot of the buy and hold mechanics apply to it a lot, but in that book he's pretty against speculative nature, and I think there's just been a lot of advancements and developments since then. Now, a book that helped me a lot. Not necessarily, it's not centered around trading at all. It's actually about sales, but is by Grant Cardone. It's the 10X theory, or the 10X book. Let me see. Got it right here. Here we go. It's from his 10X series, Sell or Be Sold. How to get your way in business and life. I don't know, man. This kind of helped me understand a little bit more about how everything is a sale and how I can just manage my time a little bit better to pay more attention to trading. So I wouldn't say that I've read any trading books. Like I said, Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham is a trading book, but it's more of like an investment book for sound investments, not really for trading. And I haven't really read a productive trading book that actually benefited me. I've read some PDFs, but no paperback books by any renowned authors that I can recommend. But I will recommend Sell or Be Sold, because it definitely helped me like understand where I was wasting time, how to approach situations differently, and kind of how to wager on how to, like, a little bit about human psychology, really. So let's put that back up over here. Yeah, that's one of my favorite books there. So, what we got here? What else we got? Nope. Caesar says, do you have any book to recommend for traders? Yeah, that's about what we got there, brother. So, about everyone, I talked to says that my friend recommended me The Intelligent Investor. Whenever I read it a few years ago, I told him, I was like, man, whenever I first read it, I was like, man, you know, I don't really think this pertains to crypto. So some of the information's outdated, but that's really the best I can recommend for you. I haven't put too much time into trying to, I mean, and the Candlestick Bible too. That's a good one to read. It teaches you a lot about candlesticks. That's just a lot of information about candlesticks. But that's not like a storytelling type thing. That's informational. This is this linear progression, educational style, not really storytelling. DC says, thanks for your time, man. See you at the next one. Caesar says, okay, thank you, sir. All right, fellas. Well, that's it then. I guess we'll pull the plug on that. I'll plan for another Q&A next month. I already have one stream planned for next week. So, guys, it's going to be the same time if you want to tune in. And if you want to get your questions asked at the next one, I'll go ahead and set that up right now. And then you can jump into the chat and leave your question there for me, like a couple guys did here. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for coming out. And sorry about my mic issues in the beginning. I will triple check next time before I go live that we don't have mic issues, because I did double check to make sure that it was on. But I did not check OBS to make sure that I was getting feedback from it. So next time I'll triple check to make sure that we have audio as soon as we go live. Thanks for coming out.